Alright, hello everyone and welcome to NFL Discussion. I'm your host and NFL enthusiast, Dougie Doug. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing Sunday, Week 16 of the 2023 NFL season. On tap for this week's episode, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Carolina Panthers, the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans, and the Arizona Cardinals versus the Chicago Bears. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with the Green Bay Packers, who have a promising offense that has top 10 scoring potential, which is good because they do not have a promising defense. The Packers are still a long shot to make the playoffs this season because of their leaky defense that nearly squandered a 14-point fourth quarter lead. Jordan Love in the offense overcame another defensive meltdown. Regardless of how the Packers season ends, it's likely that they part ways with defensive coordinator Joe Barry, but feel good about their offense, more specifically the passing attack in the long term. Yes, the Packers may have to move on from Aaron Jones because of his sizable $17 million cap hit, and fellow ball carrier A.J. Dillon will be a free agent in March. Be curious to see if they re-sign him. He's not the most productive running back, so it's an interesting case there. However, Matt LaFleur can lean heavily on Love and his pass catchers. The Packers have a young wide receiver core that features Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and Dontayvion Wicks, all of whom have shown playmaking skills at 24 years old or younger. Green Bay also has an underrated tight end duo with rookies Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. In his first year as a full-time starter, Love was thrown for 27 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. And the distinction here is that he has played like a franchise quarterback. I wouldn't quite label him as a franchise quarterback, but he's had he's had games this year where he has played like one. With the growth of this pass-catching group, he could take a significant second-year leap as a starter. No one should be surprised if the Packers are running up to score on their opponents in 2024. So we almost lost this game here, but we're able to, and again, the Panthers came back to tie it, but then they scored a field goal to close it out. Carolina Panthers, so their to-do list this offseason, not only find the head coach, but also do some free agent shopping in the offseason during free agency. Don't know. Nothing's been said about their general manager, but it sounds like he might be staying, or it seems like he might be staying. And why must the Panthers do some serious free agent shopping in the offseason? Well, because the Bears hold their 2024 first-round pick, which is currently slated at number 1 overall. Carolina won't make a draft selection until the second round unless they swing a trade for a first-round pick. But in order to acquire a first-round pick, they might have to give up Brian Burns Brian Burns or Taylor Morton. Consequently, because of that no first-round pick, they have to be active in free agency. Now, what is working in their favor is that they're projected to have only $39 million in cap space, which isn't top 10 in terms of cap room across the league. Now, obviously, you can't cut players if we have more capital, but whoever makes forthcoming roster decisions in Carolina cannot bank on the draft to turn this franchise around. That's not to say you can't find some guys in the later rounds, but don't slack in free agency and bet on that happening. The Panthers should spend money to help rookie quarterback Bryce Young, who mostly struggled before he faced the Packers on Sunday. Did have himself a career day, no turnovers, 300-yard efforts, so it certainly is something positive to build on for the end of the season. Cleveland Browns, Amari Cooper is the leader of this offense. He had a career day. How many yards was he? 265 receiving yards, career day, like I said. And ultimately, when it comes to Amari Cooper, he has produced regardless of who has been at quarterback for the Browns. Joe Flacco, the fourth quarterback up for this team, doesn't matter. During Sunday's victory over the Texans, Cooper set a franchise record with 265 receiving yards. Cooper has now registered a 100-yard game with 3 of the 4 starters behind center this season. He's the one constant in an offense that continues to deal with turnover at the game's most important position, running back and offensive line. But Flacco, or whoever's under center, knows he can look for Cooper in any situation. It's an important connection as the Browns ramp up for a postseason run. At 10-5, Cleveland isn't just competing for a wild card spot. They're still in the running for a division title, in just a game and a half behind the Ravens, who play the 49ers Monday night. Again, the Browns know they can build a game plan around Cooper and his ability to get open no matter what. Cleveland's season could have easily spiraled out of control considering how many injuries the team has endured, and poor quarterback play from P.J. Walker and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. However, with Joe Flacco now under center, the squad continues to preserve, and Amari Cooper is a huge reason why. Houston Texans. So CJ Stroud, his presence, or his absence I should say, is being felt, and not only is it being felt for the team, but it's being felt on his NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's being felt there as well. So losing his grip there, and the Texans are kind of losing their grip on their season as well. CJ Stroud looked like a runaway for that award until the last 3 weeks. The race is much closer now considering how Rams receiver Puka Nacua was playing as of late. Stroud didn't suit up for the second successive week after entering concussion protocol. Prior to missing the past 2 contests, Stroud threw for less than 100 yards against the Jets. His concerns over the past few weeks opened the door for someone else to claim this year's hardware. Nacua is on the verge of setting professional football records in rookie receptions and receiving yardage, and he could surpass both marks next weekend against the Giants. The 5th-round rookie is coming off a season-high 164-yard performance against the Saints, and so far he has 96 receptions for 1,327 yards. If Nacua becomes a record-setting rookie while Stroud and the Texans continue to struggle down the stretch, what would look like a one-horse race could easily turn into a highly contested situation. So, there is that, but I think also more important too is, again, his absence to the team. Case Keenum started the game, but was clearly on a short leash with Davis Mills subbing in for various packages, and eventually Keenum would get pulled in favor of Davis Mills, but by the time that happened, the game was well over. I guess the good news for the Texans is that the Colts and Jaguars lost as well, so still hanging on to a chance to win a division, and still in the running for a wild card spot because the Bengals and Broncos also lost as well. Arizona Cardinals. So this season has been about looking for building blocks amid the Cardinals amid a lost season, looking for building blocks, looking for things that they can build upon going into the next season. And at 3-12, they are exactly what they were projected to be by most people going into the season, and that is one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Cardinals hold what is expected to be a top 3 selection in the draft. The goal for most of the year remains the same, which is to find talent the front office can build around while supplementing the rest of the roster. A whole lot is not in place. However, Jalen Thompson at the safety position certainly fits the bill. He recently signed a 3-year, $36 million extension, and prior to last season, he's in the midst of arguably his best season as a pro. During Sunday's contest, he had defended 3 passes and intercepted Fields in the end zone. He's either tied or surpassed his previous career highs in both categories. As of now, the combination of Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, Paris Johnson Jr., and Thompson appear to be starting points for what the Cardinals have going into next offseason and don't need to upgrade or replace. So, most importantly, you got a guy at quarterback, but having a guy at safety, especially next to Budda Baker, it's a pretty good start on defense. Chicago Bears. So amidst another lost season for them, they are finding recipes for long-term success. Now, whether Matt Eberflus would be the coach to see that through, who knows? I think it's still up in the air what his status is. And same thing for Justin Fields. But at 6-9 after Sunday's victory with the Cardinals, the Bears have won 3 of their past 4 games with Justin Fields leading the way. The formula is developing before their very eyes to show exactly how the team should be built going into the offseason. Technically, the Bears are not mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, but in order to make the postseason, they would have to win out and get help from elsewhere. And both of those things are, getting help is usually a hard thing to get. A nice push to end the season signals bigger and better things, and it all starts with Fields. Any inconsistencies found within his passing skill set are offset by the creativity allowed by his athleticism. He can extend plays when nothing is available. The quarterback's natural gifts allow the coaching staff to be creative with its play calling. When everything breaks down, Fields can make something out of nothing, as evidenced by his 97 rushing yards against the Cardinals, but those aspects have always been evident. The supporting cast, on the other hand, has not. Khalil Herbert, though, was finally healthy after a high ankle sprain and showed what's possible when others around the quarterback can create an impact. Herbert ran for a season-high 112 rushing yards. The Bears claim a strong 1-2 punch in the backfield and have a couple of outside weapons in DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Considering the organization currently holds 2 draft picks in next year's top 10 selections, they can build upon this foundation and take momentum from the end of the 2023 campaign and be far more competitive this year. So yeah, you stick with Fields, stick with Eberflus, see what you can, because I think you do have pieces in place that you can build upon. I guess it's a matter of, are you willing to be patient and ride it out another season, or are you so frustrated with the lack of results over the past couple seasons that you decided that you're going to start over again? What are the Bears going to prioritize? Are they going to prioritize being patient and sticking with the status quo, or are they going to shake things up after a couple seasons? I guess we'll see how that one plays out. It's very tempting to start over a quarterback when you have what is presumed to be the number 1 overall pick. And with that will conclude this episode of NFL Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.